In today's world, it seems like we're always chasing results, whether it's hitting a career milestone, achieving a fitness goal, or receiving external validation. The focus is often on what we can achieve rather than the effort we put into the process, and when we don't see the results we want, we either become frustrated and discouraged, or we disengage altogether, thinking that the effort isn't worth it without immediate rewards. But what if we could learn to give our best effort without depending on the outcome? What if we could act with purpose, knowing that true satisfaction comes from the effort itself, not just the result? This is where Stoicism provides powerful guidance. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Do what you must. Let what happens happen." Stoicism teaches us to focus on the process and act with commitment, while remaining detached from the emotional ups and downs tied to outcomes. By adopting this mindset, we can cultivate inner peace and resilience, no matter what life's results bring. If you've ever found yourself obsessing over results or feeling disheartened when they don't come quickly, stay with me through this video. We'll explore how Stoic philosophy helps us take committed action without becoming emotionally dependent on external results. Be sure to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom on how to live with purpose, resilience, and clarity, independent of outcomes. Let's reflect on this thought-provoking quote from Marcus Aurelius. "Do what you must. Let what happens happen." Marcus Aurelius. At first glance, this might seem like a call to detachment, but it's much more than that. Marcus is encouraging us to focus on what is within our control, our actions, our efforts, our mindset, while leaving the results to unfold naturally, without unnecessary attachment. The Stoic approach is not about surrendering to passivity, but about taking committed action without being emotionally bound to the outcome. When we get caught up in obsessing over the results of our efforts, we risk losing sight of the value in simply doing the work. Focusing on the process rather than the immediate results allows us to remain steady and maintain emotional balance, regardless of whether or not the results meet our expectations. Think about it. When you work hard toward a goal, how often do you get frustrated when the results don't come as quickly or in the way you hoped? Stoicism teaches us to detach from this outcome-based thinking and find satisfaction in the effort itself, trusting that the results will come in their own time. Marcus Aurelius' quote, "Do what you must. Let what happens happen," offers us a profound Stoic insight. True fulfillment comes from focusing on the action, not the outcome. In a world where so many of us are taught to chase external validation and results, it's easy to tie our self-worth to our achievements. Whether it's a promotion, a fitness milestone, or any form of success, we often let the lack of immediate results leave us feeling frustrated, discouraged, or even disconnected from our purpose. But Stoicism challenges this approach. Instead of obsessing over results, we are encouraged to immerse ourselves in the process of doing what we know is right and necessary. The effort itself, the act of doing what must be done, becomes the reward. Consider this. Have you ever felt demotivated because your hard work wasn't immediately recognized or rewarded? Perhaps you've worked tirelessly on a project, gone to the gym consistently, or been committed to self-improvement, only to see minimal visible progress. This is where the Stoic perspective comes in. Rather than seeking validation from the external world, we find peace in knowing we gave our best effort, regardless of the outcome. When we focus too heavily on the result, we place our happiness in something beyond our control. Results are external. The effort we put in is something we can control. By embracing this mindset, we free ourselves from the emotional ups and downs tied to whether we succeed or fail. We shift from being attached to the results to being attached only to the action itself. Let us reflect on your own life. What are some areas where you may be overly focused on the outcome, And how can you shift that focus to the process and the effort? When you change your perspective, you start to see the value in simply showing up, giving your best effort, and doing what you must, without needing the results to define your worth. Now that we've explored the importance of focusing on the process rather than the outcome, let us dive deeper into practical Stoic strategies to help you detach from results while still giving your full effort. In a world where we're often taught to measure success by immediate outcomes, Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from committing to the effort itself. Rather than obsessing over the result, 1. Clarify your values and commit to actions that align with them. The first step in detaching from outcomes is to define what really matters to you. This is a core Stoic principle. Act in accordance with your values. When we know what we stand for, it becomes easier to stay focused on doing what is right, without needing to chase external validation or specific outcomes. For example, if you value health, commit to consistent actions like exercising regularly and eating well, regardless of whether you immediately see the results in your body. When your actions align with your values, the process itself becomes rewarding, independent of the results. Ask yourself, what values do I want to live by, and how can I align my actions with them every day? When you are grounded in your values, you no longer need to measure your worth based on the outcome. You are living in a way that reflects your true self. 2. Let go of the need for external validation. One of the biggest challenges in detaching from outcomes is the need for external validation. Whether it's recognition at work, approval from others, or hitting a specific milestone, we often tie our happiness to these external markers. Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within, and we should focus on the effort, not the applause. For example, when working on a personal project, don't focus on the praise or recognition you might receive. Instead, find satisfaction in the work itself, in the skill you're developing, in the progress you're making, and in the dedication you're putting in. When you detach from the need for recognition, you become less affected by the outcome and more committed to the process. Ask yourself, how can I find fulfillment in my actions, rather than relying on external validation? This shift in focus allows you to keep moving forward, even when the results are not immediately clear. 3. Embrace the power of patience. Another critical Stoic practice is patience. Stoicism teaches that nothing of value happens overnight. Whether it's a goal you're working toward or a skill you're developing, patience allows you to stay grounded in the process, even when you don't see immediate progress. It's easy to get discouraged if results don't come quickly, but true mastery takes time. For example, if you're trying to learn a new skill or work on a long-term project, trust the process and don't rush the outcome. Instead, focus on showing up every day and doing the work, even if you don't see immediate success. The Stoic mindset allows you to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Ask yourself, how can I practice patience and trust the process, even when I don't see immediate results? Embracing patience gives you the mental clarity to stay focused on what you can control, your effort. 4. Celebrate small wins and focus on effort, not perfection. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the effort, not the perfection of our work. Perfectionism often leads to frustration because it's an unattainable ideal. Instead of obsessing over flawless results, celebrate the effort you put in, regardless of how small the progress is. For example, if you're learning a new language, instead of stressing over how much more you need to learn, celebrate each new word or phrase you master. These small wins build momentum and help you stay focused on the process. By focusing on effort over perfection, you allow yourself the freedom to grow without the pressure of needing to get it right every time. Ask yourself, What small steps can I celebrate today in my journey? Regardless of how far I still have to go, recognizing these moments allows you to find satisfaction in the effort, not just the results. 5. Detach from the fear of failure. The fear of failure often comes from our attachment to the results. When we tie our self-worth to outcomes, we become afraid of failure, and this fear holds us back. Stoicism teaches us to reframe failure as feedback. Instead of seeing failure as a setback, we can see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. For example, if a project or endeavor doesn't turn out the way you hoped, instead of feeling defeated, look for lessons in the experience. What did you learn? What can you do differently next time? By detaching from the fear of failure, you open yourself to growth, even when the outcome is less than ideal. Ask yourself, how can I embrace failure as part of the process and learn from it? Rather than letting it discourage me, reframing failure as an opportunity to learn helps you stay focused on what you can control, your effort and growth. By focusing on your values, letting go of the need for external validation, embracing patience, celebrating small wins, and detaching from the fear of failure, you can detach from outcomes while still giving full effort. Stoicism teaches us that true satisfaction comes from the effort itself, not from the results. When you commit to the process, you find peace in the journey, no matter where it leads. As we conclude today's discussion, let us reflect on the core Stoic lesson. True fulfillment comes from committing to the process and taking disciplined action, regardless of the outcome. When we detach from the need for immediate results, we open ourselves to a more peaceful, resilient approach to life. Stoicism teaches us that our worth is not determined by external success, but by the effort we put into living in alignment with our values. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom, do what you must, let what happens happen, reminds us that our responsibility is to act with purpose and integrity, without being emotionally dependent on the results. By focusing on the actions we can control and accepting the outcome as it comes, we cultivate peace and resilience in the face of uncertainty. So, today, I encourage you to reflect on your own efforts. Are you too focused on the outcome? Or can you embrace the process without attachment? By practicing this Stoic mindset, you will find that the journey itself becomes the reward, no matter what results come your way. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to continue exploring Stoic wisdom and learning how to live a life of purpose, discipline, and inner peace. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you stay focused on the process without getting attached to the result?